Hello, hello. Hopefully the audio is now working. Thank you for those of you who joined the last one, even though my audio is not working. Hopefully it's working now. Just holler if you cannot hear me well, but I'm gonna forge ahead. Yeah, I'm super glad to just kind of hop on and do a short live. We are in the middle of April, basically 4 months into 2026, and there's just some things that I just wanted to put out there. And yeah, my intention is that this is going to be short, sweet, but also helpful and supportive for wherever you're at in your journey as you're navigating your path during a very potent time on Earth. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to share, and then at the end, there's going to be just two little invitations, action items for you to implement today, tomorrow, this week. They're short, but they are very powerful. So I'm going to share those at the end, but we're going to just jump in. This live is basically going to be about an energy check-in, an energetic pulse of what's happening in the collective and what's happening on Earth. I'm going into a deeper dive around everything that I'm talking about here on my Patreon. So if you feel called to check that out, go for it. But I'm going to sprinkle in some things here that hopefully are going to be value added for you. So we are in an Aries stacked moment. Like if there were ever a emoji to, in my opinion, like really articulate this moment, it would be a huge, I think there's like a huge pancake stack emoji. Like that is what, like a huge stack of pancakes, like a massive stack of pancakes on a plate that is before you. And you get to decide what utensils you use, whether you put syrup, whether you put butter, whether you eat it at all and order something else. Like, I hope this analogy is landing, but there is so much emphasis on Aries energy right now, which is all about new beginnings. It's all about the ignition, the spark, the start. And these starts, this ignition, is actually going to be propelling a whole new way of living and being. This is individually in our lives, in partnership with our loved ones, romantically, in our communities, with family, but also globally. And I'm going to touch on some of like one particular thing that's going on from a planetary perspective, because just like us, this planet Earth has her own body of sorts, her physical body, which would be nature, but she has an energetic body. She has a spirit. And so I'm going to touch on that in a minute or two. But we have 10 planets in Aries right now, which even if you're not even into astrology, that is, for context, that is a huge, huge amount of action in this area. So if you are aware of your astrological natal chart, I would highly recommend, I'm sure you are already on some level, but I would really recommend diving deep into that section of your chart. What house is it in? That house is going to give you a huge flavor for what is available to you to work with right now. And it's a huge threshold of themes for you to work with in this new beginning energy. And this isn't just like, oh my God, new beginnings. This is like, I mean, I just really can't emphasize how new this moment is. Like, we will really not, in our lifetimes, we will not get this kind of moment likely again, astrologically speaking. In terms of 10 planets in Aries, the start of the astrological year, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So there's just so much emphasis and gusto blowing its wings in this moment and these times. So while it may seem a little dramatic to some, if you really tune in, like, and get present with what is happening, within you, what's happening externally in your environment, in your orbit, and also what's happening externally in the world, like we're in a really wild time. We're in a very, very wild time. So this is really a moment of starting to write a new book. Previous volumes are on the shelf. You have received the insight and wisdom that you've needed, and now you're starting a brand new book that you get to write. So this is a time that can seriously shape your life. We are literally creating a new world. This crescendo energy is happening in kind of these breakthrough, powerful aha moments where like clarity is just like lightning striking into your awareness, into your consciousness, into your heart. And these kinds of conclusions are suddenly becoming obvious in certain decisions or areas of your life that may have felt a little elusive or felt kind of unclear. Anywhere where you've been going back and forth, in and out, deliberating, like all of that is over for these certain patterns and aspects of ourselves, even relationships to some extent. And we're committing to a new path. We are committing to a new way of being. And that's really exciting. We're kind of out of the wishy-washiness and we're entering into devotion. We're entering into careful, intentional, yet bold. Like I say careful with a lens of like not being hesitant and not really kind of tiptoeing around certain things. It's like, no, you're actually understanding that there can be care and intention in how you move boldly, courageously into this next era of life. So momentum is now accelerating. It's furthering your desires. If there was one thing to really sit with and get clear on now and in the next couple of days, it's what vision do you hold for your life? What vision do you hold for this planet? It's about furthering your desires with a new level of understanding your self-worth. Imperfectly, but also claiming that essence of you, that divinity within you as well. And it can be both. So this is a time of grounding your emotions, allowing your mind to be calm and as at peace as possible. And just overall living with a level of intentionality. It's going to be key right now. It already has been, but it's going to be key more than ever right now. Whatever you focus on, wherever attention goes, energy flows. It's really, really true, and it can be that simple. But whatever you're focusing on now, specifically with all of these incredibly potent, almost like volcanic new beginnings, is going to grow with speed and force. You have an incredible opportunity to harness this energy right now. Look at the house that it's in your astrology, if you're into that. If not, just really sit with yourself, get present with like what is awakening within you? What are you willing to finally allow up to the surface that you may have like popped down and taken a look at for a moment and then kind of moved on with your life? Like this is the time to look at everything. And everything that you need to look at is also sharpening, where you may not be able to kind of look away or distract yourself in old ways that you may have before. We're seeing clearly. Our hearts are seeing clearly. Our minds are seeing clearer than ever. If you have the ability to kind of direct your attention away from a lot of the distractions going on right now, a lot of the noise, you cut through the noise by really coming back to yourself. And this is a time of self-leadership. It's a time of navigating how to be self-led in a world where a lot of agendas want to lead you. This is about, yes, of course, sovereignty in kind of a way of how I'm describing this, but really like it's about being the creator of your life. It's about understanding that you get to design the life that you want to live. And that now more than ever, with so much unknown, there is this flicker, this like kind of luminescent flicker of like, wow, like what would limitless possibilities really look like for me if I really went on all in on like having faith that the life that I want to live is actually accessible to me somehow, some way. How can I make that happen? One step at a time. We usually don't see the whole path. And even when we have a beautiful vision of what we desire and a beautiful vision for the earth and a beautiful vision for what this human experience can be for souls coming down here, like even if we hold that, we can still understand that there are certain things along the way that we may not see fully. But do we have the courage to kind of sense and feel our way through? That's the question. So many people don't have the courage to sense and feel their way through. They want certainty before they act. They are not comfortable with the unfamiliar or the unknown. I don't know anyone who actually is. I think it comes down to a choice. But now more than ever, like we are like, we're getting more of that self-leadership essence to like actually root into our system. And I think that's a big part of like what is being rebooted on this planet right now energetically. And that's kind of generally where I'm going to head next. So if you've been in my orbit before, you probably know this in your own intuitive sensing. But if you don't, or if you haven't been in my orbit, welcome, that's totally fine. But I'm just planting some seeds around like this earth is a living, breathing planet. Nature is living and breathing. It is ever changing. It is such an incredible mirror for us. And there is an energy and a spirit to the earth that we get to connect with while we're here, while we are incarnated, while we are walking this planet. And right now, the earth is going through a reboot. And that's kind of the simplest way that I can explain it. If you are understanding or if you're aware of the pole shift happening and that's been happening and is still happening, that's a big part of kind of what I'm referencing here in terms of more specificity. But at the end of the day, it really is like a whole reboot from like the core essence of the earth, which the core essence of the earth, in my opinion, is the divine feminine energy. I do believe that the moon energetically comes from our earth. And so while we have so much love and care and attention on the moon for being this like feminine energy, I really invite us all to kind of not just view Earth as Mother Earth. Of course, she is, but she's also so much more than that mother archetype. And she's incredibly powerful, incredibly dynamic. And when we get to connect with the power that is Earth and that presence that is her as nature and being available to us, that we get to like work with nature, that we get to connect with nature, I think that's a huge gift. It's a huge gift that other planets don't have. And, you know, here I am, of course, at the start of this, if you were here with me, I was talking a lot about the astrological significance of this moment. And yes, like I love astrology, don't get me wrong. And I also know it serves me to a point. What serves me to almost like an infinite level is my connection to the earth. And so, yes, we can have such an understanding of what's happening in the cosmos and how imperative it is to kind of like have that perspective if you feel called. But the other perspective is like, well, we better have the same emphasis, if not more, on the planet that's below our feet. Like, we love looking up, myself included. We love looking up. And what happens if we just like turn our head back to our vista that is in front of us? What happens when we turn that attention down at the planet and the ground and the earth beneath our feet and the nature that surrounds us? So if you are at all familiar with the term Stargate 10, you will kind of roughly know where I'm talking about, or what I'm going to be talking about relating to this term. But basically, there's just been a term that's been surfing, oh my God, surfing the airwaves in a way, that's being called Stargate 10. And there are certain locations on this planet that have energy that kind of converges. Some people like to call them vortices, vortexes. There's certain ley lines that converge in certain parts of the planet that kind of compound and kind of really generate different levels of energy and different frequencies of light, let's just say. But it can feel kind of like a pressure point. It can feel like a global pressure point where events, happenings can intensify. And Stargate 10 is an area on the planet that is in between like southern Iraq and southwestern Iran. I think there's another term for it called the Iran Gate. But this region of the earth has a point that I was just describing, kind of has this like global pressure point on the energetic grid of our planet in that area. And I'm not going to go down too deep into the rabbit holes of some of that. But I just kind of want to sprinkle this in because everything that's happening there right now is a huge part of this massive rebalancing energetically on this planet. And it's a rebalancing of power. It is a interesting, let's call it an up level of consciousness. But it's part of a larger consciousness shift in this pivotal period where there is so much going on in that area. So they call this Stargate 10. And it's really just inviting us to see places where energy can build, hold, and eventually release on this planet. I will be sharing more about this in my grid working 101 stuff that's going to be releasing soon, because it is really important that this information be shared. If you've been in my private containers and spaces over the years, you very much kind of know a lot of specifics, but right now in this moment, there's a big emphasis on the land and energy and spirit, and of course the people and the resources that are in this Stargate 10 region of the earth. So this also plays a role in the energy on this planet that needs to stabilize to be able to make certain shifts and glow ups energetically for humanity and again for the earth. And that's part of this pole shift that I'm kind of referencing, if you were here a couple of minutes ago when I was talking about the pole shift. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, you can let me know. You can leave a comment. But yeah, that is stuff that I will be diving deeper into in some digital offerings that you can really geek out on, because I certainly do. Okay, so 2 more things. I did pull an oracle card, of course, before I hopped on, and it's the scarab beetle. Dun, 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 dun. No surprise. You know, the thing about the scarab beetle, whether you understand its affiliation with Egyptian culture or not, The scarab beetle really reflects your own infinite supply of second chances. It is a bold harbinger of rebirth. And I think one of the things that it said in the description that I just love is the scarab beetle is here to hold your hand and help you take flight into the uncharted. I think that's just so beautiful. And, the scarab beetle, since the dawn of time, has been associated with endings and beginnings. And it's so cheesy, but it is important to remember that like every ending comes with a built-in beginning. All sunsets lead to a sunrise. And if you have been feeling big endings lately, that sunrise, that new beginning is coming like tomorrow with the new moon in Aries this weekend. Even today and yesterday, there's been a lot of Aries conjunction stuff. If you're not feeling the new beginning yet, but it's kind of at your heels, but it will be coming to the forefront very quickly. I just heard like stat. And one thing that I just really have been reflecting on a lot, especially this month of April, is like, life has an inherent talent for renewal. I actually think that we are built with so much resiliency, but we also are built with this like capacity to renew, to regenerate. Yes, create, but almost like regenerate your entire life, regenerate what it looks like to walk on earth, to move through suffering, to move through immense pain, and to come out or through it, through those lessons with like such a deep appreciation for the love that is like cracking open in your own heart, the compassion and the grace. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. But I think this renewal, this rebirth, this ability for us to make a different choice. We can always make a different choice. Even if it doesn't feel like you can, or it only feels like there's one option, like talk to the earth, talk to whether you want to call that prayer, whether you want to call it in, say that you're calling in the light, whether that's God, universe, or, spirit or ancestors. It's like just asking, like, clear the path, make it clear to me what my next step is. I do this all the time. And every time I am given something as the next step, at least. And I think that is what these times are about. It can feel like a baby step, but really that step may be like a huge leap. And that's really what this mid-April energy is. It's like very, very, very significant. I don't need to go into, again, all the astrological stuff that I love to geek out on. That's not really what this channel or what my service is here for. It's just to remind you of these things in as grounded as a way possible, but also something that's kind of like quirky and unique in terms of how you perceive what's going on. And some of that was in the beginning of the live stream. If you didn't already see it, it is getting lengthy on this live. So thanks for kicking it with me. Two things that I just want to share to wrap this up, of just things that you can take action on today, tomorrow, over the next week, really, as these endings and beginnings are like, like it's not going to be like, oh, that was an ending. I'm going to, be kind of floating about for a little bit. Like these new beginnings it's like, do, like door complete. Thank you. And then the next one is like opening for you, even though you may have a variety of doors. And I said this in another post, I think it was on Instagram, I believe, or maybe it was in one of my email newsletters. Like, doors are opening within you right now and externally for you right now. But like, go open the doors, open the caverns of your being, of your psyche. Not from a judgmental way and not from a, oh my God, I have to heal this way, but it's like, get in there, get in there. And that's going to help you really discern, like, yes, I want this. No, this is no longer in alignment for me, but this is. I want more of this. How can I create more of this? How can I pioneer a path where more of this is in my life? Or, whoa, I've never experienced this deep desire that I have in this kind of relationship, but I haven't really felt that. So this past experience in this lane of my life with all these different examples, etc., like, I'm good on that. Like, I'm now going to make a different choice. So God, universe, spirit, earth, like, bring these people in to show me this new experience, and that I can choose differently because I will have a different level of awareness, and I'll also have a deeper sense of what I truly want and what my heart is now open to receiving and experiencing. Okay, so these two things are like, one, I do this as often as I remember. Ask yourself at the end of the night before you go to bed, like, what are 3 things that I'm proud of today of myself? I realize how basic this is, but this retrains so much. It's not just your mind. It's not just a gratitude practice or a self-awareness practice. It's inviting in more of that self-leadership that I was referencing earlier. Like, what are 3 things that you're proud of today that you experienced or that you inspired, that you ignited in your life? This retrains your mind. It retrains your nervous system. It retrains your heart. It like retrains your cells. It's like, this is mental, emotional, and spiritual recoding, and it can be quite simple. So that is just one reframe that you can do before bed, before you get into your energetic cocoon, and go off into the astral. I think that's really important to like ground your mind and your energy in what you feel proud of that day. And then the second thing, which I love, I did not make this up, by the way, at all. And I'm sure other people have done this previous invitation of the 3 things that you're proud of at the end of the day, right before bed. But this next one I love so much. They call it a money walk. And basically, you just go on a walk in nature, whether that's in your city or in your neighborhood or out on a trail somewhere. Like, you set an intention to connect with the earth and connect with the energy of money, prosperity, abundance, whatever word you want to vibe with. And you kind of put your phone aside, you put headphones aside, you can leave those in your car or at your home if you really feel called. But it's like, no, I'm setting the intention that this 10-minute walk, this 30-minute walk, this hour walk is going to be me connecting with me and connecting with earth and connecting with the spirit and the energy of money. And every time I do this, I receive something something of money or prosperity or whatever it is that I'm really tapping into. But there is no like how-to guide. It's just be present and like go on a money walk, talk to money, either aloud or just in your mind or in your heart, and like connect, ask for what you want, declare what you need, and how you're going to kind of be a vessel for funneling new ways of circulating money on this planet. It goes back to like that power shifting that I'm talking about. You know, money does want to go in hands and pockets of people who want to change the earth, who want to directly affect their local community, their, digital online community, and obviously the world at large. So money walk, try it. It really does work. And two, just before bed, asking yourself 3 things that you're proud of yourself that day. Again, quite simple. And you yeah, I feel like there's probably some statistic of like, I think there is actually, of like how many people actually do your free beer, like how many actually, like when people do something like this or even pay for something, like how many people actually engage with the action item or the invitation at the end. And the percentage is like so low. And some of these things, I mean, I'm just talking about creators in general, some of these things that these digital creators offer for free and people don't do them, like it's wild actually. But again, everything is a choice. And I know that if you resonate with giving it a go, you will, and your consciousness will be like, yes, let's try that. And sometimes it won't be, but sometimes we may be too distracted or not fully aware of maybe giving it a go and putting some attention and focus on that. And we can just let it kind of be floating on by, focusing on other things. And I get it. That's also part of life. And I'm not saying that these are like monumental things. I use them in my everyday, but that doesn't mean that you have to achieve your goals and to achieve kind of what you're looking for in your human experience. So this was way longer than I thought. And if you joined my other live where I had no audio, thank you. And thank you for being here. I'm sending you guys so much love. Be gentle with yourselves, but also like cultivate that fire, cultivate that like the self-leadership, the self-agency to say yes to yourself and what you can really dream up for yourself. Okay. That's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Again, new moon tomorrow. There's a conjunction happening today that's also very important. But all of this to say, Aries energy, start of the astrological new year, massive beginnings. We have 10 planets in Aries. So that is like underscore, underscore, underscore. And if you feel called to look at your natal chart and find where Aries is, what house it's in, that's going to be a big theme of what's coming up for you. So I'm sending you so much love. Enjoy embracing the force of nature that you are, because you are one. Lots of love. Ciao.